Hello, everybody! Welcome to the MudRoom, our weekly free and live Uncommon Sense parenting class. How is everybody? We have survived February, y'all. But now, we are officially on the cusp of 1 year of the pandemic. This time last year, I was preparing to leave for Mexico with my two best friends, and we had absolutely no idea what was waiting for us when we got back. So I don't know about you, but I am starting to feel the effect of lack of natural vitamin D. We're in the middle of a snowstorm. It's pretty much a whiteout up here in Canada. Obviously we weren't able to do an encore again this year. So I hope all of you are being gentle on yourselves as we mark 1 year since our lives got turned upside down. I've been getting lots of reports of kids being very anxious, restless, generally out of sorts. If we're hitting a wall, chances are that our kids are also going to be hitting a wall. So take some extra care of them and of yourselves. This anniversary is going to be triggering for everybody because we all went through a collective trauma this time last year. So be gentle with yourselves. All right, before we get into our topic today, allow me to introduce myself for those of you who are new around here. Hi, my name is Allana Robinson, and I'm a parenting coach for parents of toddlers, preschoolers, and kindergartners. I help you understand why your children are misbehaving and how to fix it without yelling, shaming, or timeouts. I am your host here on the MudRoom. I'm also the host of the Parenting Posse Facebook group, and I'm the creator and facilitator of the Parentability program, where I help you raise well-behaved kids of your own. If you're watching, say hi. If you're catching a replay, hit me with a replay in the comments. And no matter where you're seeing this, if you would do me a solid and like and subscribe, or one or the other, depending on what your options are, so that you never miss another class, that would absolutely make my day. I can see y'all say hello. I love chatting with you. All right, so there has been a lot of confusion coming my way about logical consequences and stress behavior and how they mix. So if you're not familiar with uncommon sense parenting, the logical consequence process is our alternative to timeouts. It's a process for actively teaching our children how to think critically, and it begins the collaboration process that we want to carry through to teenagehood. But it's scaled down to a developmentally appropriate level. When it's combined with natural consequences, which are different but also have their place, we call them natural and logical consequences. We usually shorten the whole shebang to NLCs for natural and logical consequences, and we usually shorten the logical consequence process to LCP because they're a bit of a mouthful. If you haven't heard of this concept before, or if you have but you aren't familiar with how we use these terms and concepts here in Uncommon Sense Parenting, go check out the MudRoom blog because we've got a full walkthrough of all of it there. But, big but, you can only use natural and logical consequences when your child is calm, okay? Because you need both language and reasoning to be able to engage with it. If you try to use an LCP while your child is all dysregulated, you're gonna fail, and you're gonna fail hard. Because when our children are dysregulated, they genuinely cannot access their neocortex, which is where language, learning, executive functions, and reason lives. Hey buddy, how can I help you?
When I turn it up, it says goes down again.
Okay, can I help you with that after I'm done? Mommy's on doing a live stream right now. Can I help you with this when I'm done? Okay, do you want to wait here or do you want to go downstairs with Loki?
Loki.
Okay, I'll see you in a few minutes, okay?
Okay, I will put it right there for you.
I will fix it as soon as I'm done. Okay, where were we? Working at home with kids, y'all. We're all doing it. Every single one of us. All right, so where were we? We're talking about, okay, they can't access their neocortex, which is where language learning and executive functions and reason live. That part of their brain becomes completely unavailable to them because it's not actually necessary for life. And when we're dysregulated, Our brain reduces the availability of energy down to our limbic system because our limbic system is necessary for life. But our limbic system doesn't have any reason. It only has emotional language. It has our safety sensors and it has our memories, so it's very good at comparing our present to our past experiences. I'm not going to go deeper into the neurology of this because I've talked about it multiple times before on different episodes, the one about stress behavior in particular, if you want more on that. And we take a very deep dive into this in parentability. But that's the important information for you today, okay? At least for our purposes. So if your child is upset, they're dysregulated, they're hyper-aroused, they're emotional, they're anything other than calm, alert, and engaged, you cannot LCP them. You cannot. It won't work. It'll go in one ear and right out the other. They physically cannot process it. It's like if someone gave you a calculus textbook in grade 1. Like, thanks, but I can't use this. Because the part of their brain that processes that information isn't available to them right then. So you might as well go LCP a brick wall because it'll be less of a waste of breath. So it's not a matter of do I calm them down or do I teach them? You gotta do both. But calming them down has to come first. Always. Always. Your child cannot be taught if they're escalated. They cannot learn. Period. Hard stop. Stop trying to do it, please. If you learn nothing else from me, let it be this one thing. You cannot teach a dysregulated child. It doesn't work. And attempting to is going to make it so much worse. Stop. So, how do you calm your child down? Because I know that's the next question. Hey, Sarah! How do you calm your child down? I really, really wish that I had a boilerplate answer for this because we're all individuals and what one of us finds calming, the other person won't. I usually find like the best example of this or demonstration of this is comparing extroverts, introverts, and ambiverts. Extroverts find social interaction calming and isolation dysregulating. That's why y'all who identify as extroverts have had a really hard time during this pandemic because your default regulation strategy has been unavailable to you. Introverts, on the other hand, find social interaction draining and isolation calming. This past year has been a teenage dream for them. And then there's ambiverts who need a balance of both. They find social interaction invigorating to a point. And then they hit a wall, and they need isolation to recover. But too much isolation, and they begin to find that draining. And that's, I find, how most of us are. We need a healthy dose of whatever calms us down, but too much or too little has the opposite effect, which means figuring out what is calming for you, for your children, for your spouse. It's unfortunately all going to be different. And it's all going to be required in different quantities and on a different schedule, which means figuring it out for your child is going to be a process. It takes time, and often it takes guidance because as parents, we're often way too close to our children day to day, so we miss it, we overlook it. They don't exactly like bite us on the nose with, hey, I find this calming. So in parentability, this is actually what we make our clients focus on for the whole first month because it's that important and it's that subtle and it takes that amount of work to nail it down. It's honestly the hardest part. The funny thing is that a lot of parents that I know of, they actually know what is calming for their child. They just don't want to accept it or to make it available to them specifically because their child enjoys it. We get so wrapped up in this concept of punishments and rewards that parents are usually actively withholding calming activities from their children because they think that by allowing them to calm down, they're rewarding them. Just let that sink in for a minute. in my experience, parents are actively withholding calming from their child in an effort to punish them for being dysregulated. You may have done this. I know I certainly have done it. It is a very easy trap to get stuck in. We're perpetuating the very thing that is causing the problem. Being calm isn't a reward. It should be the status quo. So next time you find yourself preventing your child from calming down because you want them to experience a consequence first, hard stop. Back yourself up. Consequences are not punishments, okay? They aren't something that you do to your children. They are collaborative and they require both parties' input. And they cannot be executed if your child isn't calm. Allowing your child to calm down isn't giving them a tactical advantage. It's not teaching them a lesson. It's not keeping them accountable. It's not making sure they understand what they did was wrong. It's holding them hostage in a state where they cannot learn and using their emotions against them. Allowing your child to calm down before you discipline them is basic human decency. And we want our children to know that they should not be engaging in arguments with people whose better judgment is impaired by dysregulation. That's not a fair fight. And we teach them that by modeling it, by not engaging with them until they are calm. The consequence will be far more effective if they can collaborate with us and they actually have the ability to learn from it. So next time you're trying to use an LCP with your child and they start to escalate, that's your red flag that they are not calm. And you need to give them time and space to calm down first. And then once both of you are calm, teach. Okay? First calm, then teach. Now, if you're finding that once you get there and you're having a hard time figuring out what to say beyond your LCP, I have a free script pack for you. It gives you 10 one-liners to start a conversation with your child, and it explains why these work so that you can modify them and use them in different situations without losing their effectiveness. The link for that is in the description, so go check that out. And if you're ready to come join us in Parentability and to start figuring out your child's regulation cycle and how to calm them down, the link for the waitlist is up there too. We'll be opening up registration again soon, so make sure you pop yourself on that list and then watch your inbox. Thank you everybody for being here with me today. I hope this clarified the order of operations a bit and gave you something new to try or a new perspective to see your child's behavior through. This closes out February, which I'm finding really hard to believe. And for March, we're going to be trying something a little bit new. March is always a really busy month for me. We have a lot of family birthdays in my family. It tends to be when my husband is away. I think everybody has those months in their calendars where there's just more demands than time available. For me, March is always one of those months. And I've been getting a lot of questions that we've already answered on the MudRoom, which is great. It means our community is growing and we've got lots of new faces here, which thrills me down to my socks. But over the next month, we're going to revisit some of those older topics. So what we'll be doing is we're going to replay the episode. I'm going to still be popping on to introduce the topic, say hey, let you know that I'm here to answer your questions. And then we're going to re-roll the original so that we can revisit some of these important aspects of Uncommon Sense Parenting again over the next month. Sound good? Cool. I will see you next week for an Uncommon Sense Parenting class throwback. Okay? Bye.